Hey everybody, Alan Cox here. Today we're going to talk about something that is now in preview called the SharePoint Knowledge Agent. As I said, it is in preview. It does have to be enabled, but it's designed to enrich, organize, and structure SharePoint content so that Microsoft 365 Copilot and other agents can deliver smarter, more grounded responses in SharePoint. And so we're going to take a look at that. That's going to be our focus today. So let's get started. All right, let's get started by talking about how we turn this on. So here I am at the Microsoft Learn site on this topic, getting started with the Knowledge Agent. As we mentioned, it is in preview. And so there's a couple PowerShell commandlets really to get it going here. And so we'll just jump down here to enable the knowledge agent on all sites. Now you can enable on sites and then kind of exclude specific sites. Soon you will have the ability to enable for specific sites, but right now it's kind of an exclusion thing, kind of an all or all then exclude. But in any case, we'll take a look at that. And I'm pretty much going to do this for all sites here. I do have this enabled, but we'll run through this. So I'm as an admin in the PowerShell ISC, and here we have the commandlet. So first I'm going to pick, if I take this particular one here, just to authenticate into SharePoint service, I'm connecting to the FPO service commandlet here, and I'm going to be using this account here, and we are pretty much authenticated in. Now I am going to then run the second command here, which will enable it for all sites. So I'm going to do this. Now I've already done this, so pretty quick, pretty easy. And so we can now run this command here, and I'm just going to we can see that it is enabled for all sites. So once that is done, pretty much right away in my SharePoint environment, we can close out of this, we're done with this. In my SharePoint environment that I have here, pretty basic environment, mostly just templatized from the SharePoint build. And so I've got a portal home here. Here's my portal. Then I've got some resources that are available, different department sites, if you will. So an HR department, IT department. We're going to look at the volunteer department here. Down over here on the right-hand corner, we will see this little floating this little button down here, and that is our SharePoint Knowledge Agent. And so if I were to click on that, open this up, what I get here is all depends on where I'm at from a context standpoint at my SharePoint site. So for example, right here, I'm in just the site here on this volunteer site is what this is. And so I've got some of these things here where I can summarize the page, ask some questions about what's on the page, and get some AI information back from what's on the page. I can improve the site. We'll look at that in just a second. I can create a page, and of course we can see more agents here. So if I have more agents here, then of course I can drive into and drop right into those particular agents. So if I've got agents specific for that particular site, etc., that I have created or spun up using basic agent builder. But in any case, we're going to look at a couple things. So first of all, we can summarize this page. So if I were to just click this and just give it a quick summary, it's going to give me a high level summarization of what I'm seeing basically right here in front of me on this page. So we'll let this kind of run through for a second and see what this returns. So it's a brief summary of the Volunteer Center homepage, getting started, impact. So it's just kind of going through and seeing kind of what it's seeing on the page and give me a summary of that, right? So Good deal. So let's go over here and let's take a look at, let's improve this site. Now, understand this is a demo site and I don't have, this hasn't been built for very long. I don't have a whole lot going on here. But when you do improve the site, and I go quickly, it's going to show you any inactive pages. And we'll take a look at that in a little more detail in just a second. Find contact gaps. So finding contact gaps, it's just, what are we missing on this page? What are we, what are some things that maybe there's just not, very cohesive or I don't know, well explained, I guess. So finding those contact gaps. Fixing broken links. So any links, by the way, you can click here and we can show redirected links. So links that are broken, not redirected, that are essentially broken. But let's go back to this retire inactive pages here. So this inactive pages here is basically a way for us to stay on top of pages that maybe are outdated. And we can change this inactivity time to 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 36 months, right? So when a page gets to those time frames, it's going to show you that it's an inactive page. It gives you the option here to retire the page. Of course, you can always bring it back. And I don't have any examples in this site because I just don't have a whole lot of older sites on this in this particular tenant. But over time, I should see this happen. So that's just sort of the improve this site part of this. Of course, we can ask some questions, of the Copilot, of this agent, of this knowledge agent that's out here in the site. How many meals have been served by volunteers? Yeah, bring this question here. We'll see if we get this information back. We should go through the site, and so far volunteers have served 70,000 healthy meals. And of course, it gives us the knowledge center reference where it's at. I believe I did see that down here anyway. So right here, there we go. So anyway, so that's just a little bit about that as far as the asking questions, getting some summarization, improving the site. We can also create a page, and we've been able to do this for a little while, a couple different ways. One, you can do this directly in SharePoint. We can create a page or a news post. If I were to go in here and create a page about let's say I'm going to announce a 5K walk for, I don't know, American Cancer Society. And I could add different things for this, but I'm just going to say I want you to create this news post. Now I can make this in different tones, more casual, enthusiastic, engaging. Let's do that, and let's just do, for this, we'll just do it concise. And then we shall let this go. And so we'll let this take off. And we'll see, I'll get it started here. We'll see this is just going to kind of build out this news post here. And while it's laying this out, should not take very long. You can see join us for our 5K walk supporting the American Cancer Society. It's going to get some imagery, some visuals. So here's some of the text that is coming in. Of course, all of this we can continue to edit. We want, even though Copilot or AI is essentially writing this news post. Okay, got it, good. So, and off it goes. We can see down here that it's different sections. It's loading 8 sections in this news article. And so we'll let this build out here. And then once it's done, we probably won't necessarily save, but we can say that we can see that it is AI being generated due to the AI icon here. And so we're just going to let this continue to go for just a second. I think that with the knowledge agent, really what Copilot has kind of been doing inside of SharePoint anyway for a little while, even outside of the knowledge agent, really seeing ease of builds when it comes to sections of SharePoint. I think this is just going to continue to grow, continue to get better. And so anyway, it's continuing to write this out. Some volunteer opportunities here. And so I don't know how long it would take you to do this, but it would take me considerable time to write up and draft up this news information, this article. And so it's kind of wrapping some things up here. All right, and we are pretty much done. Now it gives me the option, just like most Copilot generated text and information, the option to keep it, or we can discard it entirely. Of course, I could keep this and then post it and save it. But this is just an easy way for content owners within your organization to draft up new news and information articles that quick. We're not going to keep that for now. So as I mentioned earlier, and I'm going to go ahead and just discard, so because we don't need to change it, change anything. I think we get the idea. Now I'm going to change. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go to Forms and Files and Forms. This is where I've got some document library here, and now we're going to do something different because as we see now, we click this knowledge agent. Now our information that we're getting here, our context, is changed now because now we're in a knowledge, or we're in a document library. So we've got an opportunity to ask some questions. And by the way, everything we ask it is going to be grounded in just this knowledge or just this document library. So if I were to, you know, I don't know, let's just ask it a question here. Let's say, who is on the volunteer contact list? I don't even know if there is anybody, but we're going to see what it says. Just notice this event contact list. There's a contact list for this volunteer. I'm going to see if anybody's on the list. I don't know. So there's a lot we can do here because we can go in and of course, get this information. So there's probably not, but it does tell me here on the columns in this contact list. I was just kind of throwing stuff out there. But so let's take a look at some things that we could actually do here. So first of all, let's just click this Organize This Library. We're just going to click Organize This Library. And to me, this is the most powerful part of the knowledge agent because what it's doing now is it's going through and it's going to look at content and it's going to create the content here, and it's going to create these metadata columns based on what it thinks it needs or sees in the documents. So it's got volunteer total hours, achievements, key achievement summaries, year reported. We're not seeing a lot of value in those, so we may do a couple things. So we can do some things with those. So like year reported, for example, we can go in and edit this prompt essentially. Identify the years. Okay, there may not be anything here, and it doesn't appear that there is. So I'm going to cancel this for now because we can go up here and create additional columns that are going to make a difference for us. So let's do this. Let's classify documents. So we're going to classify these documents. If no category applies, then use the value of unknown. We can modify this as it goes. But I want to classify each of those documents and by categorizing them. So we'll let this do its thing here. Because then as we start doing searches and start doing some prompts against Copilot on this document library, now we can leverage the metadata, not just what's in the file itself. So now we can see that there are annual report, volunteer report. I'm going to add code of conduct, volunteer code of conduct. I'm going to add here, we're just playing around here, add a document type of policy. Let's just see if it adds this. As one that I'm kind of, okay. I'm just going to see what it does here. And it's okay. And it automatically picked this code of conduct as a policy. Because that's kind of what I figured it would be. Comprehensive agreement, policy. Okay, cool. Because we can go in now, there's document types, but we can go in and edit these document types, right? We can edit these all we want. We can go in and say, I can just summarize the documents. Now, I don't need, so what I don't need is the volunteer hours total, because I don't have anything there. Now, if I had some sort of tracking, then that might be helpful. I don't. So I'm just going to remove that column. I just don't need the column, so it's gone. Okay. Key achievement summary. I don't know that I necessarily need that, but I might do create a column in file summary that summarizes the document no more than 50 words. So now I can kind of create this column that's going to summarize each of these files for me, so that without opening them, figure out what it is, I can kind of get this file summary here created. So I think we get the idea here. Now, one thing that we can do, here is we can go in and now we can do some things. So we could say, well, I can type that as group by document. Cursor's in the way. Document type. So I can start doing some different things to this. And so now we can see that they are grouped by document type. Now, so we can save the changes to this. So we can save changes to this, and I can create this as a new view or a current view. I would probably save it as the current view, but I can go in and create different views. So I'm going to go ahead and save this just as the current view. And the current view is sorted by document type, remember, or grouped by document type. So we're going to go ahead and save this current view. What we're going to notice here is we're going to notice the autofill activity is going to start really looking into these documents. And as it looks into those documents, it's going to give us a little more detailed information, but it's really kind of indexing these files is really what it's doing, and doing the autofill as it does that. This should not take very long, so we'll let this go just a minute while it does that. You can see that it is finishing up some of those, done some autofills here, but now we're doing some kind of refreshing this autofill, and we shall give this just a second. All right, so now we're good. Almost, not quite done. Okay. It's kind of giving us some information here. This year reported, I may not necessarily need that. So I'm going to take that year reported. And I don't even need that column. Come on. Okay. We'll just get rid of this column here. We don't need it. All right. But like I said, we can go in and we can get some metadata. And I can also go in and get, set metadata on this, but I can also go in and I create a new view, and I can organize my files here or this. I can also organize by document type, then date, modified. Again, just kind of playing around, stress testing this a little bit and seeing how it organizes for us. So it did do it by type. Okay, and then date modify, which these were all modified the same date, but I think we get the idea. So date and then modify. You can see that using both of those. And then I can save this as a new view. And we're going to auto bill, so we can auto bill that activity. So this view here is by document type and modified. So you can also set up rules. So I can set up rules here and say that, well, let me do it this way. Let me I would like to send a notification when a new, but I'm going to do new file type is added. Okay, let's say policy. So if a new policy type is added, okay, create a rule, okay. So when a file is modified, document type, is policy, send an email to anybody, but we'll just say me. Okay, and then we can create this rule. So anyway, I think a lot more is going to come from this, and we're still continuing to dig into it, but this has a lot of promise. Again, it's in preview. What may actually ultimately end up in the final product may or not be here, but we're certainly looking forward to what else Microsoft is bringing to the table around this knowledge agent, and we'll continue to keep tabs on it. Well, I hope this has been helpful for you, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch.